Hey, Grace.
Hello.
So could you please make me, what is it, co-host or something so I can share?
Yeah, I'm going to make you the host. Okay, you're host now. I'm not doing so great tonight. My spine is acting up in a major way. So I'm going to stay for as long as I can, but I might not make it all the way through.
Okay.
You are host now.
I am host. Okay. Let me practice Sheen screen. So this is the thing that has so many stuff to look at. What is that? Okay, so the trick is pulling up the right thing here. No, I do not want to share that. Put in a plug for Zoom. I don't think so. Paid advertising. Hi, Fred. You're muted.
Gail, remember to admit people when they're in the waiting room.
Oh, I have to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, how do I do that?
There'll be either an admit button at the top of the screen when people are in the waiting room. And then also when someone's in the waiting room, you'll be able to see it under the participants menu.
I do not see.
It is at the bottom of your Zoom window to the right of the mute and video buttons.
I have apps, closed caption, pause, stop recording, raise hand, share screen, participants.
Participants.
He's there. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. But I don't see anything about letting them in. Oh, there's Jamie. Admit. Got it. Okay. Hi, Dad.
Hello.
Okie dokie. It's 1 minute till. Do we have to wait till 7 o'clock to start?
It is 7.
It is 7. Okay. It is 7 p.m. We are opening this meeting. Note, it is recorded, being recorded.
And we have to, this is something I've been learning recently. We have to open the meeting with a roll call vote, and we have to say the name of everyone who is participating remotely, which is all of us.
Okay, would you each identify yourself, please, as here?
Fred Steinberg, present.
Oh, and I make a motion that we have a vote to open the meeting.
Oh, come on, really?
Second.
Really?
Okay. Okay.
Do I hear a second?
Yeah, I second it.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye, roll call. Okay,
Hi.
okay. I'm here, Gail Flyshaker.
Here, Grace Spanish.
Fred Steinberg.
Here, Jamie Malcolm Brown.
Okay.
Yay.
Yeah. So we've done pro forma. Good. Fred, could you turn up your speaker or get closer to your speaker? It's hard to hear you.
How's that?
Oh, that's better, I think.
I'll talk loudly if I have anything to say.
There you go. Okay. So the first order of business is the question of, do we want to go to Tiny Letter as an email service for the town announcements? And for the record, Fred was going to go look into it in terms of ease of use of sending out a message and whether our regular senders could use the way they are accustomed to, and whether we could bulk our list rather than having to get everything by.
I believe the answer is yes to everything.
So easy to use, and yes, our users can do it as usual. And yes, they can bulk, we can bulk
Um,
add, yeah,
Yeah, it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure that's what I discovered. I know
yeah,
that,
okay.
yeah,
I got into a conversation with, well, it turns out to be two people, asked a couple of follow-up questions, and it turns out that, yes, they can bulk move our whole list to Tiny Letter, but they save only the email address. They scrub the rest of the information. So I went back and forth on it. I could not believe that. So I said, so how would you look up whether somebody's gotten the message or not? Well, you search their email address. I said, no, the name, the person's name is not often in the email address. And they said, well, then you'll have to just sort through the list. So there basically is no way to manage our subscribers. And we had an example of that just last week when Penny Jakes wrote and said, my husband is getting the town announcements, but I'm not. Can you figure out what's going on? Easy in MailChimp. You go in, type in Penny Jakes, up comes her profile, and I can see immediately that she was sent messages, town announcements thoroughly up until July 27th, when she unsubscribed that particular message. So she was listed, her status was listed as unsubscribed. She said, oh, that was a mistake. I didn't know I did that. So she signed up again. But apparently there's no way to go through that in Tiny Letter, which just,
well, if you have her email address, all they're saying is they don't have the name Penny Jakes, but if you have the email address in question, you could do the same thing.
yeah, but what if Tim Logan says to me,
I don't remember giving town, when I signed up for town announce, I didn't give them my name or anything. It's just my email.
no, you gave me your name. It's in, at least it's in that form.
It's not required, though. Somebody could sign up with just an email address. I mean, the canonical identifier is the email address. So I could give any name I wanted. I could
In MailChimp also?
yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
can
the
see it.
only, on our subscription form on the website, the only required field is email address. Yeah, I never gave them my name. Or us. I mean, we already have it, but.
Yeah.
People
I mean,
know.
the only potential issue would be if somebody didn't know what email address they had signed up with,
Right.
but they would probably give you some options. It might have been this one or that one, or they could just sign up again. But I think the
Right.
potentials outweigh that small issue.
Then the question is, okay, you plug in the email and can you get to a profile? Can you actually track down what, I didn't ask the next question, is what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what if the Tiny Letter has the same statistics that MailChimp has or not.
Can you turn your volume up, Fred, please?
I can't, but I don't think I can, but I can talk louder.
Okay,
Yes, I was just agreeing. I don't know what statistics Tiny Letter keeps compared to MailChimp, if it has the same stuff or not.
she said they save only the email address. So when I
yes.
would bulk transfer the thing, then simply delete all the columns with names and address.
Right. My question is whether, given that you have the email address, can you go into Tiny Letter and see the activity?
Okay, so that's the question. Okay.
And I don't know, but I'm guessing yes, it should be very similar, if not the same.
Okay.
And can somebody remind me what prompted this? Why are we doing this? Is this because MailChimp was expensive? I don't remember the,
Oh, you brought it up as an alternative?
yeah.
I think it was hard for some people to use.
Yeah, so the MailChimp
Oh, right.
The main issue we've been having has been people not getting the emails.
Oh, well, and all kinds of bells and whistles built into
we don't-
MailChimp
we
that
don't
our
need.
users don't really need or want.
Right.
But I would say that our folks who are used to sending it now, I mean, they know the routine. Well, let me go ask that further question. What I want to ask is, sorry, do it again.
Well, we can just look and find out. You don't have to go through support if it's time consuming.
Is that what you're doing right now?
No, but I can. I'll go do that.
Okay. I'm writing minutes.
Okay.
So we want to know, is there a way to track activity? Is that right?
Yep.
I mean, the two really have different purposes. MailChimp is out there for marketing. And Tiny Letter is for sending messages. So, you know, on the face of it, it seems like Tiny Letter would be the one we want.
Yeah, it is. It's stripped down. So you don't get all the statistics. If I look at my account or my email on our Tiny Letter account, it
Yep.
tells when I subscribed, how many emails I received, and the last one I opened, or the total number I've opened. But it doesn't.
And it gives your status.
Well, just whether you're subscribed or not. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I think when you unsubscribe, I don't know. I think you're just gone. So we would not be able to tell when somebody unsubscribed, I don't think.
You would not be able to? You would be able to. But you know their current status.
You know who is subscribed.
That's key.
Well, I mean, you have, that's the whole, yeah.
That seems like all the information we would need to
I
me.
agree.
Yeah.
I just agree. Whether somebody's signed up or not is.
Okay.
Yeah, simple is better, I think.
Yep.
Where did my window go? There we go.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the main issue I would have, is whether everybody would have to resubscribe themselves, but it appears that we can do that.
And I got a very clear answer on that. Yes, you can do the whole bulk thing without people having to resubscribe.
Right.
Okay. Tiny Letter. Okay, so do we want to move to Tiny Letter for town announcements? Do
I'm
I hear
good
a
with it.
motion? Do I
I'm
hear a
good with
motion?
it. I make a motion that we move forward with moving our town announce system to Tiny Letter away from MailChimp.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
I
Aye.
Aye.
Nay, opposed? All righty.
who is gonna manage that move?
Fred, would you take that on?
Yes.
You're a good sport. Thank you.
Yeah, and Fred,
Good question,
I'll
Jamie.
I'll check in with you tomorrow. I'll also talk to Becky tomorrow about this, and we can work on, Fred and I could work on making like a tutorial. If Fred, if you help get me set up with Tiny Letter, I can make a tutorial, so then
Okay.
we can more easily teach everybody how to adjust.
Yeah, I'll get you the login information, but tomorrow I'll be pretty busy all day. So apart from that,
Perfect. Yeah, I just need the login information.
Friday I'll be available.
Unanimous. Okay. And there's no fee, so there's no question in terms of accounts or anything like that. We'll save. But let's get it set up in Tiny Letter before we bow out of
Certainly.
MailChimp, so we don't get caught in the crossfire.
Mhm.
Okay, well done. Then the next is issue on the agenda is the town announcement policy. And let me pull that up. You all were sent it. You see it?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
Did you all have any comments from what you were sent?
Couple minor things.
Yeah,
The first two words should be either the Shutesbury or just Shutesbury's. Here we go. And I would suggest changing from the passive was established or is intended to. Mhm.
yeah, good.
I think that's all I had.
Okay. And it doesn't sound like access is going to be any different from what we have for MailChimp, right? We're going to train folks on how to do it. And those who don't want to do it themselves, well, do as I've been doing. The one thing that is different, as I remember though, is we have only one account. So all of these town announcements will come from Town of Shutesbury. So somebody's going to send a message, say, town administrator, the librarian, Board of Health, and the test message will come to the web committee and be okayed at the web committee level. But that seems appropriate because that gives us a chance to make sure that the form is correct, which is the only thing we have to look at,
What form?
that it is in the proper form, that it doesn't use personal email addresses, that it uses shutesbury.org addresses. and so on.
I'm really hesitant about us being in the position of doing that. I mean, first of all, like, town announcements sometimes need to go out right away, and we're a volunteer committee, so we may not have time to respond right away.
No, the committee wouldn't respond. It wouldn't be up to the whole committee.
I just like, if we're sending out like important information, I feel like we shouldn't be in a position where I don't think we have the capacity to be checking out the emails after they've been composed and somebody's ready to send them.
We've been all along.
Well, I mean, like, most people send the email straight to MailChimp and it goes out.
Those are our usual customers, yes.
So like,
In which case, then the web committee, I would simply say, yeah, go. It would come to the web committee email instead of to the Board of Health or the librarian or town administrator email.
right, my hesitation is that assumes that someone on the web committee is available to do that, which may not be the case.
But that's what I've signed up for. That's what I've been doing all along.
I understand and I totally respect and appreciate it, but what about when you're not here anymore?
Then we'll get somebody else to take that post.
Well, in this policy, there is further down, a clause about sending directly to the list.
Which is, I think, what people should just do, and we shouldn't have this other step.
Right, but we have to be judicial in handing out the information to do that. So, this is what we do now, right?
Yeah,
So-
we give it to chairs, or if the chair designates someone else.
Right. So this is, I mean, this is the same as it's always been.
That is
Yeah.
the part
I think-
about us checking the form of the email is where I have concerns.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So the policy does not reflect the current behavior or the desired behavior. So we do need to fix this policy.
How so?
Because what this policy says is every email is going to be reviewed for compliance.
Excuse me?
This policy says every email is going to be reviewed for compliance.
Right. That was carried over from the policy from donkeys years ago.
I know, but that's not, the policy does not reflect reality. Because we
Okay.
don't email.
We
it-
aren't
it-
checking every email for compliance, and we can't. I don't think we can.
No, I do check the ones that where there is a request for the web committee to send out this email.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we send out a lot of emails where that's not the case.
Correct, the ones that are sent directly.
Right, so they should all be sent directly.
There are folks who don't know how and don't want to.
But
Right. But I don't think we need to make it a requirement to review it. But some can be reviewed if they get sent that in the way that you are checking them.
Right, how
But-
about we change the policy to say pre-approved senders, or I don't know if you want to say pre-approved, but you can send to the list directly, or you can submit your message to the web committee who will submit it for you.
well, that's what it says now.
That's
and
what
I'm
it says now. Yeah.
okay with that. Yeah, as long as it's like, as long as we're not in the position of checking every email, and as long as people are able to send emails without it being dependent on the web committee.
Well, under tiny letter, that's not possible.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Because there's only one account. You would have to change the account name every time you send it from somebody other than Town of Shutesbury. So if you send it from the librarian or from the Board of Health or from the town administrator, you have to go in and change the account.
What do you mean change the account?
There's one account, Town of Shutesbury,
Right?
and everything goes out from the Town of Shutesbury. There's a place in the sending that you can say where it's from, and you can specify in the subject line, of course, Board of Health announcement or librarian announcement or town admin.
Am I correct in thinking that we can send messages directly from Tiny Letter and we're not emailing to Tiny Letter and then getting an email back?
No, it goes the same way. It gets sent to Tiny Letter the same way it gets now sent to MailChimp. And they send it back.
We can also send directly from MailChimp. We don't have to do it the email way.
What do you mean?
You can log into the MailChimp account and send a message directly from there.
Yes,
So people could log into the Tiny Letter account, send a message directly, and we wouldn't have any bouncing back emails.
they'd have to sign in as Town of Shutesbury.
Yeah,
I thought, didn't we discover there was a way that you could send to a special email address without logging in?
that's what I thought.
Yes, the same way they do with MailChimp now.
Right. So what's the problem with doing that?
Right, and then it would
That
bounce
the
back to
conf-
the email that,
That the confirmation email, the test or the
Oh.
confirmation goes to the web committee
I see.
because we are the holder of the Town of Shutesbury account.
So there is a confirmation step. What the heck?
But that's just a pro forma. I mean, if they put their committee name in the subject heading, it's going to be clear to the receiver that it's from the Board of Health in the town of Shutesbury.
Right, but the Board of Health doesn't get that, isn't able to send their message.
They send their message, they don't get the confirmation.
So they're not able to send their message. Because it's then dependent on one of us doing something.
Yes, so there is a confirmation step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
Yeah, sounds like we need to test that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So currently MailChimp, when you submit, it sends the confirmation back to the address that submitted it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, so that could be a problem.
But if people log into the Tiny Letter account, then they can just send it directly.
Yes, and the only issue with that is that they'll have access to the entire mailing list in terms of,
And the confirmation will still go to the web committee.
well, they,
Well, if you send it directly, there's no confirmation.
I believe there is.
There was not when I.
Oh, you're right, you're right. It's a test. It's a test mail, but not a confirmation. Yep. In MailChimp.
Or in Tiny Letter. In Tiny Letter, you can log into the website and send the email from there.
And you can do that in MailChimp too.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, the only issue I see with sharing that account with everybody is that they'll have access to the link where people can add and delete things, which,
Yep.
I mean, I don't think anybody would do that nefariously, but maybe
But
accidentally.
that sounds risky. We could simply scratch this reviewed for compliance thing.
I'm good with that.
To solve what problem?
Well, yeah, because I mean, we're still having this problem where, let's say the Board of Health needs to send out really important information. And if it's really urgent, they'll do a code red, but none of us happen to be available that day, and that information needs to get out that day.
Mhm.
Right now, the Board of Health can send it. They're not dependent on us.
Right.
But this creates a delay in a process where we sometimes need to get this information out right away.
Right. So the only solution to that with Tiny Letter would be to have them log into the website. And
Right.
yeah, the question is if that's a good idea or not.
That's the question. And whether
Well,
they
can
can
we
send it
set,
directly without it's requiring a confirmation.
I mean, are there admin settings on Tiny Letter?
Are
Can
there
we
what?
manage multiple users?
No,
No.
that's the problem.
Okay.
That is exactly the problem. You've put your finger right on it.
So we may need to revote last vote because we didn't discuss enough.
Yeah, yeah. Hold off on Tiny Letter until we figure out some more things about it.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean,
PS.
so what was the last motion we voted on?
I'm
Tiny
sorry.
Letter.
Moving to Tiny Letter.
Yeah, so I move that we revisit the last, the last vote and after further discussion, do not immediately move to Tiny Letter.
How about instead of moved and seconded, blah, blah, we raise the question that we need to figure out how to do this before deciding to move to Tiny Letter.
Yes.
Yep, yep.
So should we create a tiny letter that just has like the four of us and we can test it?
Yeah, I do have a test account
You
already.
do?
Get me the login information, Fred, and I'll
Yeah, I'm
write
trying to
something
find-
up for us. Amusing.
All right, it's tinyletter.com, and the login username is Shutesbury. And
And then don't give, this is a recorded public meeting.
I
Don't
know,
give
I
the
was about to
login
say that.
information.
It's the usual password. I believe it's the usual password. I have to check. But try that. If it's not, let me know.
But you're gonna want to send a message from town clerk or whatever, and not from the web committee.
Right. Mhm. From any email address. But yeah, I think my improved understanding as of now is that I don't think it's going to fit our requirements, because the confirmation, it requires confirmation, and that always goes to the web committee.
The web committee, yeah, okay.
We can look at other options too.
Mhm.
Okay. So we did a retrofit here. So you want to hang on, or do you want to go ahead with this policy, scratch this review for compliance altogether and keep it as is?
Well, I think.
Or to wait till we figure out what we're doing with tiny letter?
Yeah, I think if we have the policy open for discussion, we might as well make it reflect the actual practice. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll shelve this until we've made a decision on tiny letter? Is that what
Well,
you're saying?
No, let's edit this so that it's reflecting what's happening right now.
Okay. So do you want that paragraph scratched on compliance?
Well, I'm more worried about the top of this section. Messages being submitted for sending should be sent in an email addressed to web shoots. Like this puts us not just at the back end of it, this puts us at the front too.
These are the folks who don't do it directly.
I don't understand why we're not just giving these folks the information.
Some folks want help. They don't want to do it.
But we can teach them how. It's not hard. I can send them the email
They
address.
don't want to. There are two committees that do not want to. They say, please do this for us. I do not want to get involved with this. And at that point, I'm happy to do it for them. I mean,
At
it's,
that point, that's fine, but I don't think that should be included in the policy.
right, I would suggest making that last paragraph first. Can you scroll down a little bit? So.
this one,
Yeah. Put that first, and then after that, we can say, a committee can submit their message to the web committee to post for them. And then, so in that paragraph you just moved, the web communication committee may approve. I would change that to the town officials who have been approved by the web commission,
where are you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Suggestion would be to start with town officials who have been approved by the web committee may send them emails directly to the list.
So
Wait a minute.
Or town, I don't know if approved is the right word, but
yeah, that's my question, because
Yeah.
Yeah,
we've never had a meeting to approve anyone. It's just either the chair or the chair designates somebody.
yeah.
who've been given the instruction, really.
Or just, yeah, just how about town officials may send emails directly to the list?
Yeah.
we don't need to get into the mechanics of how they, how they do that, but. And then you can also remove the without prior submission to the committee, since that hasn't been discussed.
Say what? I'm sorry.
We'll just have it be town officials, blah, 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 may send emails directly to the list, period. So remove the without prior submission.
And here's where the complying with guidelines comes in. That you're not sending out commercials or political announcements or asking for money or using a personal email address, blah, blah, blah.
Right, that was before.
Yeah.
But that's covered. Okay.
Yeah, guidelines, process, and then town officials may send emails directly to the list.
How about for requesting a message being sent?
Where?
Does that work?
Yeah.
And then on the previous paragraph that we shortened, it's no longer a process, so I would just make the heading be sending messages directly to the list, to the town council.
Scratch this.
No, up.
Well, yeah, scratch that.
Oh, I wasn't looking, sorry.
So just requesting that a message be sent to the town announcement list as the title.
Okay.
And similarly above, remove the process for the director.
Aha, got it. Much better. How does it do that? Ah. Okay, here's what you do if you want to send. Here's what you want to do if you want to request that a message be sent. Good. Oh, this is short and sweet. I like this and
Me
clear,
too.
very
I
clear
think
now.
we got it to a good place.
Any more additions, changes, amendments, deletions? Do I hear a motion to accept this as amended?
And motion to
move.
accept it.
Jamie,
Amended.
okay,
Second.
Second Jamie's motion.
all right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed, nay. Unanimous. Okay. Okay. Do we want it in the minutes that we considered the question of the committee's approval? Or do we want to just leave that out?
I mean,
Committee what? What committee approval?
That we discussed, do we want to be in the business of approving a message? Do we want that in the minutes?
I mean, you can put it in there and just say that we decided we didn't want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we discussed it, so it should be in the minutes.
It should be in the minutes.
Okay. And I like your language, Grace, that we were not qualified or we were not empowered or something,
We don't have the capacity.
do not have the capacity, right? To judge. Hmm,
To provide
Timely
content moderation in that way.
Provide moderation, message moderation, provide,
Content moderation.
how about we don't have the capacity to moderate the messages.
Maybe moderate isn't the right word.
And so the original paragraph said check for compliance.
You could say don't have the capacity to guarantee timely response.
There we go.
A
I
time.
think that's the one.
Say it again, please, Fred.
The committee does not have the capacity to, is not able to guarantee a timely response to submitted messages. Or I don't know what the language is, but something to get the point across that the problem is there might be a delay if we're required to approve everything.
That's,
I'll be right back.
well, that needs work. I'll come back to that.
Words are hard.
Okay.
These are the minutes.
I'm working on the minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't stress too much about getting, an exact optimal wording as long as,
Okay. So I will take this policy and the policy on that we approved, 2 meetings ago. Then we'll have both the web policy and the town announcements policies up to date. I'll take them to the select board. They have to say yay. Okay. All righty. Stop share. Thank you. That was excellent. Next up. So as we spoke about our last meeting, Google has said your free ride is over. Your organizational emails are going to cost you, and that will start in July. So I looked up online to see what they post as costs, and it's $6 per user per month. And given that we have currently 47 users, that takes us from free to $3,384 a year, which is a chunko change. Grace did her homework and got responses from a number of communities on what they use for email hosting. And I checked some of those out. One did not claim, Thunderbird was one of the ones on the list, and they don't have anything to say about email hosting. So I think that town must have simply been using email, Thunderbird email as a way to send messages. They're not hosts, that's for sure. But the others all had prices comparable to what Google was telling us, saying online. And many of the users were complaining that even if you go to these other hosts, you've got to do the IT work yourself. And that it was time consuming and frustrating and heavy duty IT maintenance, which we don't have. So it appeared from that and from Jamie's asides that there's no reason to go to any of those other sources. And there are lots of reasons not to go to those other sources, moving to a new vendor. So I put in a query to Google and actually had a face-to-face virtual meeting with a sales rep and asked, first of all, if there wasn't some other category, because we were booked as business category. And I pointed out, they asked what our budget was. Was it between 30 million and 300 million? I said, whoa, no way. We are not in the big business. We are a small rural community. Oh, well, then you should be in the government section. I said, okay. But they couldn't give me the deal in government that they can give us in business. So these guys are, anyway. So the new deal would be, for one thing, not a fee per user, but a fee per license. And they don't care who we have on the license. We would be buying X numbers of licenses on a 3-year term at $3 a license per month. But it's twice the gigabyte storage that we have now. So our current users each have 15 gigabytes storage. The starter plan for Google, if we go a 3-year plan, would be $3 a month per license. If we're running up against the 30 gig as a limit, we can move to a standard plan, which is $6 a license per month for 2 terabytes. Oh, we are a long way from terabyte land, that's for sure. So our current users have 15 gig each. We've been in the business since 2013. And only 4 of our 47 accounts are anywhere near 15 gig. 1 is slightly over, 3 are creeping up on the 15 gig. So we're not anywhere near maxing out the 30 gig for a number of years.
What we do need, we do need more space. So town clerk and town administrator do
Are the
run out
heaviest
of
users.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The administrator is actually overboard, but the town clerk is working on it real quick. But that's since 2013. So
It's from 2013, but I know Becky's had a ton of problems and has had to delete a lot
Okay.
and create space again and again and again.
the trick is, so many, I wanted them to give us a bucket use because we've got a whole bunch of these users that have half a gig, 1 gig for how many years? And couldn't we have a bucket use? Well, yeah, if you go to the 2 terabyte, you can pay it $6 a piece. Nah, okay, never mind. So the question then comes down to how many licenses we should buy over 3 years. In other words, casting out for the next 3 years, do you foresee a need for 1 more license, 2 more licenses, 3 more licenses than we have? They don't care who the users are. So we can say, okay, this committee's gone out of existence. We'll put this other committee in on that license.
Right.
So we have a number of select board members who are no longer select board members, for instance, who still have email addresses. But we have 44 active users.
What does the license mean exactly?
That you are entitled to have an email address run on the Shutesbury.org account.
So yeah, 50 licenses means 50 different email addresses.
So it's a license per user.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, it's what, a difference of what, $15 a month if we got the full 50, and we'd have ourselves covered.
Is it possible to add licenses, or it's like
Not
once
in
you
the 3
sign up?
years. No, that's the deal. At the end of 3 years, we could up the ante to a greater number of licenses. I would see that we have more licenses that we could, if we had 47 licenses, for instance, if we needed to add another user, there are some folks who could come off, who either don't have office anymore or who don't use their email address.
Would the new license user have access to the previous license user's emails? So in that case, we'd need to have a archive plan.
Doesn't matter what the email is on any license. You can have this license and it can change the email on that license. 5
Right,
times.
but so like the select board members. So like when I took over the town clerk email, I have all the emails, all the town clerk emails. When a select board member gets an email, they don't see previous select board emails.
Correct.
Right, so if we're taking people off, we need an archiving plan.
Absolutely. Well, anyway, and for your record retention, we need to
Yeah.
archive. We
All
don't
of
just
it.
simply delete that email. We archive. But the select board members are all by personal name. They're not by,
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just having trouble visualizing this.
Yeah,
How
and
it all works.
you can export all your data from Google accounts.
Yeah.
So you can like just download it and then,
and archive it, you mean?
yeah.
Yep. Where are, well, the folks that we've taken emails away from must have them archived someplace.
I don't know if
Yes.
we've actually taken any emails away. I think they're still there, but they're marked as inactive or something.
We have only 3 or 4 inactive, the rest are all still listed. So I'm thinking of who was select board in 2014, 2015, 2016.
Well, Elaine Palaio said that when she took over the select board, when she was elected to select board, she was getting all of Michael's emails. So there was, and she had access to Michael's emails.
Oh, but that's because if you write to the select board, all the select board members get that email.
No, so Michael left the select board, Elaine was elected. She had access to Michael's emails from when it was his select board account. Is what I heard.
Then he would have given her access and
Yeah, I don't know.
his is still there, inactive.
Right, so if his is still there, he would have been the one who would have been on the select board in like 2016, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have all the old emails.
But to Jamie's point, the data can be archived. That is not a problem. I think the question is, how many licenses do we want to buy, knowing that we cannot up the number in the course of the next 3 years?
Yeah, that's hard.
And it's
I mean, there's a way in the Google admin to see when the last time somebody signed in.
Yes,
So we could look at that as a starting point and see which people are not actually using it and just like looking at their names.
there are a couple, sorry, there are a
See if we
few
can
that have
eliminate
not
them.
used it since 2014, several who have not used it since 2017. They'd be our first likely candidates.
you could see how many people have used it in the last year and use that as the minimum number we'd need and go from there.
Well, no, the minimum number we need has to be based on how many committees we have. and how many town officials.
Right.
And
Right.
so there's departments. You know, it's not just committees that need the emails, it's also the
Whether or
departments.
not they use them. I mean,
And-
that's a whole different issue.
Right, but just because the people now don't use the emails
Got it.
doesn't
Oh, I'm
mean
with
that,
you.
yeah,
I'm-
someone new might come in a year and they might be
Train 'em
much
up.
more comfortable using the
Yeah.
emails. So I think that we should figure out a way of assessing our needs separate from figuring out a way of assessing our current use levels. I think both of those are important, is
Mhm.
important data to have here.
Okay.
Right. And then once we can reconcile that, we can determine, all right, we need 20 active. And then we should have like maybe 5 to 10 extra for turnover or future changes.
Does
I
the
don't know what-
school, does the school have a separate email system?
Yes.
Yep.
School, yeah, but the school committee members have Shutesbury.org. Oh, boy. Hold on. I charted this out. I'm trying to find it.
Interesting question. Would it
Hold
be
on, let
worthwhile
me share the screen.
to ask the school IT if they'd be interested in providing town email? Because if they have an email system already, adding 50 more users is pretty negligible. They have the infrastructure to provide the service already. Adding more users might be easy to do. I don't know if
Worth a
that,
shot.
because they do have IT employees.
And do they have email hosting?
Well, they have email addresses. I don't know what they use for their email hosting. That's the question. I mean, they might also be paying, they probably are paying a per user fee, but if they're hosting their own email, then there's no per user charge.
Grace, what's the legality of that if it's outside town? I mean, the school is not legally a town entity.
Well, neither is Google.
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that question.
Yeah.
It's just a thought. It's probably not
I think,
feasible.
I think.
Oh,
it's
I
worth
see what
asking.
you mean, Fred. Yeah, yeah, okay, yep.
Plus, they might also, because they might also be like, why are you guys doing this? Just do what we do. We'll explain it all. It's always
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, it's certainly worth looking into. Because they probably have about 50 emails there too, so.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question then is really, how many do we need to cover officials and committees, right?
Mhm.
That's a question, which,
The next question is to investigate how SES is doing it.
yes.
And who's going to take that on, please?
I could do it.
Okay,
you.
Grace.
I
So
can do
what
it. And
Find out
I-
is
I am,
how,
wait, sorry, I have to go. My back is killing me. And I'm
Okay.
flagging. right.
let me just get clear though on what you're going to ask at the school before you go. I'm sorry about your back, but
I'm gonna ask them what they're using for email service right now. And whether it would be possible for the town emails to be through that same service.
okay.
And I'm guessing the answer to the first question will be a little over my head. And the answer to the second might be no, but it's still
Mhm.
worth asking.
Yep. Okay, go
All
lie
right.
down.
All right, thanks. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Grace.
Bye.
Would be possible. So basically, the school would serve as our intermediary for email hosting by who knows whom.
Possibly. I mean, they might be doing their own email hosting.
Yeah.
So,
Ah,
yeah. I mean, the infrastructure cost is negligible. It's the
it's a service cost that, yeah.
right. You know, the organization setup and all that.
So they'd be our intermediary or,
We don't know.
yeah, okay. Okay. Great, moving right along. Last thing on the agenda is to look back at that list of where's the website? Not what I want. Sorry. Figure it out yet. How to get to. Okay. Sorry. Okay, do you see this? Do you see the,
No.
We see you.
in short? How about now?
Yes.
All right, yay. Okay, so at our last meeting, we had a list of wannabe changes, Drupal structural changes. And the first one, the biggest one, is going to this town officials list and getting all of these associations to show up as the web page. Ta-da! Thank you, Jamie. The next part of that is to get these guys on the personal contact pages also to show up.
Right.
And I had thought I could have gone to school on what you did, Jamie, but the views are constructed differently enough that I couldn't get there from here. So
Yeah.
I threw it back at you.
Complete different configuration. So I'm
Yeah.
still trying to figure that one out.
And at our meeting, Jamie, you had talked about going to get some of your Drupal program guys to come look at our website and give us an estimate of what it would cost. how many hours, blah, 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 to do this, that, and the other thing.
Yep.
And I'm looking at major big bucks and I'm thinking, the town isn't going to want to do that. So I took the questions to Willa Jernigan and asked her what she would suggest. And she came back with pretty pictures. She did. So what I asked her about was the multi-column menu and the putting the word menu above the little icon. Now, what do you see here? Do you see a pretty picture?
Multi-column display.
Yeah.
So she came back with, she used, Jamie, does it make sense? Something inspector she used.
Yeah.
So
So
she could get it to do it to show, but not change the website. So she said, this is what it would look like with a multi-column display. This is the kind of thing that Susie Mosier's been working on or wanting to see. And the other is putting the word menu above the icon here. Turns out there are a whole bunch of folks out there who do not know what this little icon is for. So this is just to give them a clue, especially if they're on an iPad or something like that that doesn't have the full screen array.
Mhm.
So Willa showed me these things and said that she could send the code. I said, oh, that would be great. Thank you very much. And then I was to send it on to Jamie. So I did that. And I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, the code.
Yeah. I just have to integrate it properly, which I haven't had a chance to do yet.
Would it take forever to do it?
No, it's not forever. It's just getting my computer. Right now, the sites run through like a Git system, and I just have to connect to it. So it's not a big deal, but I need to set it
It
up
is a deal.
properly. Yeah.
It did occur to me that she prefaced that whole thing, the first responses with, I don't have access to edit capabilities, so I did it this way, and here's what I can show you. One way to take care of it might be, since she already has the code, is to give her edit authority or access or whatever it is, and ask her, please, would she be so kind as to do it?
Yeah, I mean, all she needs is that login to Pantheon. And then she can get access through that. So the web at shutesbury.org. And then,
Okay. Would you be willing to contact her with that information?
sure.
Cool. Then it gets off your back, right? Maybe. She seemed very gracious. I mean, it was happy to hear it's going well and la da da. Okay.
I have a Drupal thing to bring up.
Okay.
Drupal has moved on to Drupal 9 now. We're in
Oh.
Drupal 8. And it's at the end of life for Drupal 8. So
Oh, really?
yeah, they're not going to do any more security updates. So we need to upgrade.
What does that mean?
It's not as bad as it was from going from 7 to 8, but it still requires just like making sure everything is compliant. Drupal, they have like a module you can install, and it will tell you like these modules won't work, so you have to switch to this module, or it's just like a bunch of little things, and then you can run the update. I just went through it on a big site, and it wasn't horrible, but it still took probably 20 or 30 hours. So it's something that I'll have to start working on because we don't want to let the patches get behind, because then our security is pretty poor.
So 8 is going away or just not
It's
supported?
not going away. Yeah, it's not supported. So if there's some sort of vulnerability in the code, they don't fix it. And then people can take advantage of that and hack into the site.
As of what date?
It's already over. It ended in November.
Oh,
How much bigger is that big site? 10 times bigger?
It had 10,000 pages in it
Oh, all right.
and a bunch of custom things. So it is pretty big, but and
okay.
our site's pretty simple compared to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So it's not.
Oh, boy. So 30, 40 hours, you said?
20 to 30 probably.
For the big one. So this should be the 10th. I mean,
Hopefully, but you never know what you run into.
right.
Till you get there.
Yeah.
Never, right.
Yeah. Well, you
Okay.
can run the thing and see what it says, and then you'll get an idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I've added that. Let me go back here. That's another good reason to ask Willa, please, to take care of these two dinky little things.
Yeah.
Okay. She would be entering the code, writing the code. What do you call it?
Yeah, she could like update the code, the current code. Current CSS is what she'll be working through.
CSS code. Okay. The last thing on the wish list, I know you really want to hear this, Jamie, is the changing the banner photo seasonally. That's way down the line after bring it up to 9, that's for sure. So that was in my list with Willa, but she let us how that would probably be part of a theme involvement, and she's not familiar with themes, so she made an outright pass on that. She's not even
Mhm.
gonna go there.
Do you have other images besides the one that's there?
Say what? No, I haven't, no. So I understand now the size of the photos. And according to what I found online at Drupal, there is a way to do this, but the procedure was for Marinelli, is that the right? It's a standard Drupal thing. And I told Jamie about this and he said, yeah, but to do it on our website, even to follow those instructions on our website, it would have to be a custom build. So
I really think that changing an image 4 times a year is not something you want to automate. It's got to be much easier just to have somebody go in and change the image than installing a module to do this automatically based on.
well, that's the first question. How do you change the image? And that's not apparently straightforward either, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, right now it's a image that is just being called through the CSS code as a background. So, I mean, you could just go into the CSS code and change the file name. So you could
Right.
upload like 4 images and then go and change that. But
Or you could just replace the file with a new image and keep the same name.
right.
And the cache would eventually refresh. Then you don't have to change anything except for the file itself.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Yeah.
Is that something you could teach me to do?
Yeah, I'll just have to figure out where it's currently uploaded and if it's a way that's easy to upload, or you'd have to just use like an FTP.
Couldn't we put a
Connection.
folder with the 4 photos, each with a number, and simply take 1 out and put 2 in, take 2 out and put in 3? take 3 out, put in 4 from the same folder, so they're always there.
You could do that too.
Yeah.
This doesn't have the
So-
priority, of course,
Right.
that these other things, but yeah, it's been my fantasy for,
Well,
well,
think
when did I
the
start
most
working?
productive thing to
2017.
do Would be to
Excuse me?
find, I said the most productive thing you could do for that would be to find the other 3 images you want to use.
Yep,
And there might be some motivation to do it, but until. those
then,
other
and then
things-
we'll have something to talk about, right? So my sense is to use this beautiful photograph that Jamie has, where there is a sharp focus at one side or the other, and then this beautiful blur of color out of focus across the whole line. And this is great for fall. And I could see snow on evergreens for winter, crocuses for spring, coneflowers or daisies for summer, the same thing. Detail and then a blur of color.
You have to
Anyway.
discuss the thing for those photographs. I'm not sure if the author.
Pardon me?
Nothing. Joking.
Yeah. So why don't you start with finding the spring image you want to use?
Yep,
Then I can do that one manually. and then
okay.
that'll help me remember exactly how to.
And you'll learn from that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And make sure that it's the same size as the thing that's in there, and I've got that put away.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Does it have to be a certain sharpness or focus,
No,
high quality somehow?
I mean the same kind of like pixel dimensions. So
Okay, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. I think we are there. Anything else anybody wants to bring up?
Not I.
Okay. Since much of this was reports and announcement, I did the minutes by Dry Lab. And I've added as we go along. So I'll bring up the minutes and then we can vote on them here and now. Ah, what?
We see something.
You don't see the right thing, though. Oh, yes, maybe you do.
yeah, yeah. See the minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you scroll to the top?
Pardon me?
Can you
Can you go up
scroll
to the top?
We see the bottom of the page.
Oh, it's paused. Why is it paused?
I don't know. Oh, there it goes.
Now we can see it.
All right, for the tiny letter,
Yep,
the second bullet, further inquiry.
yep.
Tiny letter can track user status, but not, oh, I guess that's true, some activity. Sure. Okay, yeah, that's correct.
Did I do it?
Yes. And then we need to figure out how, I would change it if possible. Figure out if it's possible to send for multiple users with confirmation. Because I think the answer to that is it's not, so.
I see. So we need to figure out if it's possible, what?
To send for multiple users without central confirmation, without single use, how do we, without the web committee requiring confirmation of the message. Yes, very good. Yes.
Let's put this up front, though.
Do we need to record that we took a vote and then decided not to do that? I don't know how we would do that.
We didn't take a vote on tiny letter. We took a vote on the policy.
Well,
Oh,
we did take a vote on tiny letter, but then we decided.
We did, yep.
Yeah.
And here's where we got into this language tie-up.
Yeah, that's good. Provide a timely
Send.
timely action. I don't know.
But that sounds like we're not asking for confirmation because we don't have time.
Well, we can't guarantee, I mean.
Right, we can't guarantee.
All right,
we
if
can-
somebody needs something to go out quickly, we can't guarantee that that's gonna happen.
Yeah, we can't guarantee that we'll accept the confirmation or reply.
So we simply do not have, we cannot guarantee.
Yeah, that's the wrong language, though. I think it should be that, I mean, we're not trying to guarantee. We don't want the procedure to be at the risk of delays. Yeah. Whether question whoever's approving this were sent out, who decided this risks delaying messages. Yeah. There we go. That's better.
Does that work?
Yep. And
Yeah,
you have relay when you want
Right.
deep.
Yeah.
Oh. What do you want? That? Yeah. We got a relay team here and the handoff.
And remove the apostrophe S there. I think.
You don't like that?
I don't like it.
It lines better too. How about that?
There we go. All right.
Yeah,
Looks good. All right. For the SES, the second part, I don't think we need to say to be that specific about the intermediary, just investigate what SES uses for email service and see what's relevant, and see what's relevant or useful for the town.
see if,
If anything is, uh, and see if, yeah.
like that.
No, I still wouldn't say in setting up, and see if SES, see if I don't know. I mean, we're just seeing what they're using to get some information. We're not asking them specifically to set up our email, but yeah, that's fine. I like that better.
Bright ideas, always welcome. Okay, moving on.
Fair enough. Okay. Hopefully need less than 20 to 30 hours.
Thanks for hoping.
Oh yes, fewer. Much better.
Anything else?
I'll move to approve the minutes as amended.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to close the meeting?
Yes,
Aye.
I
Yeah.
All
move
those
to
approved
close.
say aye, 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 aye. We're done.
I like those pre-written minutes. That's good.
You like doing the minutes this way?
Yeah.
Well, especially when our meetings are, what, months apart? This seems to me to make sense, but,
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for doing them.
oh,
Yeah,
you're
thank you.
welcome. It helps me set up, I mean, basically, this is an enlargement of the agenda, so,
Mhm.
yep. Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep us posted.
All right. Take
Have a
care,
good night.
everybody.
Good night.
Aye.
Do I need to do anything special to turn off?
I have
No,
no
if we
idea.
all leave, it just ends.